Over valley and mountain, river and plain, through wind and storm, rides Anne of the Airlanes.
Dr. Tyler, head of the Tyler Sanitarium at Springfield, has been exonerated by little Sawanga, the native lad, as not being the mysterious doc that heads the illicit diamond syndicate. Sawanga knows this because the one called Wanadeka by the natives, the doc, has a scar on his forehead placed there years ago by Sawanga's brother when the doc wrested the new diamond mines away from George Ross and Zeb Abercrombie. Close upon the heels of this revelation comes the news that the plane bearing Pete, Kay, and Zeb has landed close to the transport piloted by Jack Baker, and which is known to be in the neighborhood of a savage tribe known as the Yugas. Sawanga leads the Tyler safari to find his brother, who is with Jack, but hardly has he gone when the talking drums begin to tell the story of the march of the Yugas upon white victims. Are they on the trail of Jack and Ann, or is it the trio in the Aircat speed ship that are the intended victims of the cannibals? Suppose we see what is taking place in the vicinity of the Aircat.
I tell you, youngsters, I don't like the sound of them drums. They usually carry bad news to somebody when they sound like that. And being in the neighborhood we are, I don't like to think that bad news is headed for us. But I reckon we could take off from here if we had to, couldn't we, Pete?
Zeb, I've been sort of hating to tell you and Kay this, but we took a pretty bad bump when we hit that chug hole when we landed this morning. And that main feed line is busted right square in two in the middle.
Oh, but surely you can fix it, can't you, Pete?
I don't see how I can, Kay. A new piece of feed line is about the only thing that'll do us any good. Nope, I'm afraid we're stuck here until I get a chance to get into Jack's transport. He's got plenty of spare feed line. I think there's a complete soldering kit in the toolbox.
I tell you what I could do, Pete. That transport's over on that other Sugarloaf Hill on the other side of that fall when it gets dark tonight, I could get over there and sort of raid it for whatever we need.
Don't forget, Zeb, that Joe and Vic are still with him. Besides that, there's that native that's been working for the doc down at that Cape Town landing field.
You mean Kobu? Don't worry none about him. And about that Vic and Joe, well, I guess they wouldn't be so hard to get around, especially here in the jungle.
It sounds like the only thing to try, Pete. There's no telling when we might have to take off in a hurry.
Especially with them drums thumping like all get out. I learned a little about them when I was here the last time. And what they're bumping on now is sure for no good.
Well, I thought they were sending a kind of a native code, just like our own shortwave radio and telegraph.
Not on your 10-type, young lady. Them drums actually talk. You just listen to them for a few minutes, and you can actually hear them make sounds that make words. Of course, it's all in native, so you have to know your native language to understand what they say. But when you do, you don't have to know any code.
Pete, that is true. I can hear it now. It really seems like they're actually talking. And it seems to be sort of menacing, if you know what I mean.
All I know is that they give you the creeps. Make you wish that you could dig up a feed line in a hurry. And say, that reminds me, we haven't heard a peep out of Jack's radio since they landed this morning.
Them gangsters have probably rode the herd on him so close that he ain't had a chance to send anything since that last conversation you had with him right after we left Cape Town.
You mean when he told us about not hearing from the doc since Dr. Tyler left Luando and that Hans was to meet them at that lake, whatever it seemed?
And since you mentioned, that message sure knocked your idea about Tyler not being the doc, didn't it, Kay?
I still think Dr. Tyler's all right, even though appearances are against him.
Okay, but you just wait.
Listen, you youngsters, we've got to think of somewhere to get to, and get to in a hurry. Them drums finally got their idea over to me. I knowed I'd catch it, but just listened long enough. We got to get away from here, feed line or no feed line.
But, Zeb, I thought the natives around here were all friendly.
Well, I reckon that most of them are, but right over in that valley next to Lake Delolo is a bunch that are known as the Yuga people. They ain't got very much of a savory reputation with the rest of the black boys in this neighborhood, but I guess it must be on account of their habits.
Habits? I don't follow you, Zeb.
You better get ready to, because these Yugas, well, they ain't so particular about their food.
Well, you mean they're cannibals?
I guess that's just about right, Kay. And them drums say that they've spotted some white people somewhere.
Talk about your pleasant thoughts. But couldn't they have meant someone else like, well, Jack and Ann or even Tyler or that Hans?
That's what I've been sort of listening to find out. And just now they let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. It seems like the exact number of white people is 3, which happens to be the exact census count of us right here.
Oh, but we can't just stay here and let them come after us. Pete, maybe we could use our radio.
Remember what the instructions from headquarters are, Kay. We'll scrap it out before we send a call for help.
Don't exactly know what to do right off. We're here on top of a sort of a Sugarloaf mountain or hill. Pretty hard to get up in a hurry and just about as hard to get down, too. Now, them fellers is used to this place, and they can make better time than we can. And away from this airplane, why, they could corner us and starve us out in no time at all.
But how about making a break for the back side of this hill? They'll be coming up from the valley over there, won't they?
Yep, I reckon they would, Pete. Only thing is this. George and me had our diamond diggings down there on the other side of this hill. You see that little sort of flat place with a little stream running through it?
Uh-huh.
Well, we always wanted them natives of ours to go with us to investigate what was at the backside of this very hill, but you couldn't get one of them to move an inch. I guess some witch doctor must have put a curse on the place, because they sure steered clear of it. George and me thought a lot about seeing for ourselves, but we got run out before we got around to it.
Then that's fine. That's perfect.
What do you mean? That's fine. That's perfect.
Why, don't you see? The natives are scared to death of some sort of a superstition that they have about the east side of this hill. Well, if one tribe is scared, it stands to reason that the others are, too. So if we go that way, they'd hardly follow us, would they, Zeb?
Hey, I think you've hit on an idea.
Yeah, but look here, you two. Maybe there's some kind of a reason for them guys being scared of going around that side of the hill. Now, I ain't exactly superstitious or anything like that, but there just isn't any reason to run into something we don't know anything about. Besides that, what's going to become of the Aircat?
Now, you needn't worry about them natives touching anything on that there airplane. They probably wouldn't have anything to do with it for $1 million if there wasn't any humans around it. Say, we better get some grub and water together and start making tracks that way.
Okay, so there isn't anything over there. Then what are we going to do after we get there? Just sit there and grow up with the country?
Oh, Pete, can't you see? Once we reach that side of the hill, that's taboo. We can have Zeb make his trip over to Jack's ship and get that feed line. Then by that time, the Yugas will probably have found out that we aren't there on top of the hill, and they'll go away. Then we go back, fix up the Aircat, and be ready to take off if they show up again. Isn't that right, Zeb?
Right as rain, gal.
The only thing I hate to do is to leave this ship. Boy, I'd just about break a few necks if anything happened to this Aircat.
You don't need to worry none about that, Pete. Say, we better start making a pack for each one of us so we can get out of here.
You don't suppose they've already started for this hill, do you?
Wouldn't be a bit surprised, Gabe, but you never can tell about them fellers. They don't travel in a body so as you can see them. They scatter out, kind of individual-like. And one of them is liable to come popping out most any time. Only thing we can do is to watch that clearing down there at the foot of the hill. They have to cross that before they can start up. Well, come on. Let's get started.
I'll get the field glasses when we get to the ship. I don't have any ambition to get sneaked up on. Think we ought to lock the ship up pretty good so they can't wreck any of the instruments?
Archibald Peterson, I think you're more worried about this plane than you are about whether or not you become the pièce de résistance at a cannibal barbecue.
Well, you got to admit that this Aircat has pulled us out of some tough spots. And I hate to think of somebody wrecking it just for pure meanness.
Oh, well, stop worrying about it for a while. It's the stuff as I handed out to you. What should we take, then?
Well, I reckon just something pretty staple and enough for 2, maybe 3 days. And don't forget them trick water bags with the shoulder straps. Sure glad I picked them up back in Cape Town.
Hand out those field glasses, Kay.
Here.
That's it. Here you are, Zeb.
Right.
You know where to look, so you take them.
Yeah. I'll just have a sort of a practice squint. Nope, nothing in sight yet. But them drums ain't changed their tunes, so we can expect company any time now.
Now, let me see. Coffee, condensed milk, dried beef, bacon flour, baking powder, matches, salt, and then these flat tins of stuff. Here, how's that?
Well, it seems that ought to be all right, Kay. You lay it out here, Pete, and I'll take these here blankets and make a roll for each one of us.
All right.
Hey, you and me will lug the hefty ones, you see, and give the light one to Kay.
Oh, don't hold back on weight on me, Zeb. I can carry quite a load in an emergency, and this surely looks like an emergency.
You're going to save your strength for the job of cooking, Kay.
Shh. Kid, look. Looks like the rush has started, youngsters. I just seen a few fawns over at the edge of the lake.
Oh, no.
Yes. They ain't got to that clearing yet, but it sure won't be long now. Unless some of them sneaked across when we wasn't looking.
I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Everything's shut off in here, Pete, including the radio. Thank heavens we can lock the cabin doors of this precious ship. Anything else you want in here?
Flashlights, you put them out?
Flashlights and 2 spare batteries apiece. Oh, here's Zeb's rifle and that box of cartridges you got in Cape Town.
Yeah.
I guess that's all.
Okay, then, jump. I got gotcha. That's it. Now I'll see that she's all locked up.
I'll close the shield and lock the other door from the inside, Pete.
That ought to just about fix everything. Can I help you, Zeb?
Yeah, I reckon as how you can, Pete. You see how I'm doing this? Here, you just sort of string things along in the blanket, see? So you can make a roll of it. Then when you tie the ends together, it makes a hoop that you can kind of put over your shoulders. Makes it a lot easier to carry, and you can get rid of it lots quicker than you can one of them knapsacks in case you need both your arms free. Here, there, you see how it's done?
Yeah, I get the idea now. Main thing is to keep lumps out of it.
That's the idea, Pete. I learned this idea a long time ago. Kind of a trick to it. Fixing them so's the weight's kind of strung out pretty even. But you get onto it pretty quick. No, wait a minute. Wait. There. That's better. Now that bacon you can roll up. What?
Pete, quick, I'm sure I saw someone through the trees right over there.
Where, Kay? You sure?
Oh, I think so. Yes, there he is now. You see, moving right past that stump where that tree's fallen over.
Yep, I see the critter now. Crouching down behind that tree trunk. Give me that rifle, Pete. Here you are. That's it. All right. The next time that the top of his head shows, we're going to start the fireworks. And it'll be a good show as long as the shells hold out.
One rifle and one box of shells to ward off the attack. Have the savage Yugas indeed succeeded in gaining the top of the hill? Or could it be possible that the intruder is part of the band belonging to the Doc and Hans? Thrill upon thrill, surprise after surprise, and excitement galore is in store for us in the next breathtaking episode of Anne of the Airlanes.